And I don't think any of them have made videos since clarifying that no, Candace seems to have been telling the truth, because who cares about the truth when you can just like dunk on Candace?
Can you explain this, please? Basically, Candace Owens is towing an incredibly dangerous line and doing it in a way that I don't think most people would risk, because it sounds monstrous what you are trying to propose. So much so that if you just said it out loud or blatantly, that I think like even for her newfound fame and stardom, you wouldn't be able to pull it off.
Kamala Chronicles. Oh, it's because of the Blake Lively lawsuit. The common denominator here is me looking for truth. And I think people are catching on to the fact that I'm sincerely looking for truth, and I don't care what enemies I make along the way. And obviously, I'm making a lot of enemies right now for some reason, looking into the Charlie Kirk assassination and the lies that would.
If you want a quick TLDR, she's been probably the largest right-wing pundit who has been spreading conspiracy theories about Charlie Kirk's murder, claiming that it could have been Israel that was responsible. I mean, she's just asking questions, all right? She doesn't have to name them by name. But also, she has been suspicious of perhaps it was a Trump assassination. And if it was a Trump assassination, what did Erika Kirk know? Again, she's been saying things that if any liberal or leftist, I would say even maybe some Republicans, they said out loud, they'd be fired. Meanwhile, her show is more popular than ever. I was watching her live stream today just to see what kind of numbers she's getting. She had 135,000 live viewers. 135,000 live viewers. Candace Owens is dwarfing the Daily Wire. She has completely taken it over. They're irrelevant now in every way.
You're being told. Anyways, let's get into Erika Kirk. Obviously, it was a very anticipated interview. Look, I think we didn't really know what we were going to get. I don't know why I thought it was going to be like more about the investigation. And obviously, in retrospect, that's not what it was about, because it's Fox News, and Fox News is not going to do this like heavy investigation. It was kind of more giving her a platform to speak about how things have changed for her, how things have.
Why would you have a CIA water bottle? I will assume a wink and a middle finger. All I can really say, I mean, one of the guiding compasses of Candace Owens these days is she does and says whatever the fuck she wants. And right now, I can enjoy and laugh at it because it's really being directed at some of the worst people in the world. So as long as it's a circular firing squad, hey, I am here for it. I will never in any way, shape, or form support her or her work. She's a horrifying, racist, homophobic, transphobic bigot of the highest order. All right, let me be clear when I say this. Candace Owens is a horrifyingly terrible person. But right now, she has her sights set on the rest of the right. So let them fight.
Changed for Turning Point USA, what it's like being at the helm of the organization. What are her thoughts about what that organization is going to look like going forward? And I'm speaking about Jesse Waters, who hosted this discussion, also trailed her at the event that she did with JD Vance at the University of Mississippi. Now, people around the world obviously have been moved by Erika's commitment to her Christian faith, the strength, obviously, that it takes for her to look after her kids, to look after herself, plus to steward this massive company, all while she's grieving, right? And that's kind of one of the things that stood out the most to a lot of people. But I would say the Christian message is what has resonated the most when she got up on stage and she said that I forgive him pretty instantly. I mean, when was the memorial event? It was only, 10, 11 days after he was assassinated? I think it was even less, maybe. It was like the 19th, 9 days after he was assassinated. Oh, sorry, the 21st. Mansplained in my ear. Thank you, Mark. So Jesse asked her about the harder moments.
See, and she's playing it very careful. I know there's the other clips that have circulated where she's kind of like, she was put on blast by a lot of people like Steven Crowder, because it really sounded like she was insinuating that maybe Trump had something to do with the assassination. But in that case, that little sentence she just said, for the untrained listener, you might just hear like, oh, it sounds like she's praising Erika Kirk, right? But she's actually bringing up how it is kind of a little bit suspicious, isn't it, that she was able to forgive him so fast. I mean, I know she's a Christian, a real one for sure. Definitely not calling into question her faith. But I mean, how many days was it? 8 or 9 days. It does seem very, very quick to forgive the person who murdered her husband.
That she has encountered becoming a widow, and she shared that nighttime is the hardest. She also shared her experience with the emotions of being a widow compared to the emotions that other widows may experience when grappling with sudden loss. And here's what she had to say. Take a listen.
It's so easy to be in a position of feeling regret when you lose someone you love. And I tried to read a book by C.S. Lewis because he lost the love of his life. He was only married to her for 4 years. I think it's called A Grief Observed. And it was a very hard book to read. Not because it was about grief, but because in the opening pages he talked about how angry he was with God. And I've never felt that. I'm not angry with God. Never have been. Never have I questioned, why, Lord, are you putting me through this? Why are you testing me? Why are you? Because God is so good and he's so sovereign. And I know he uses everything, even what the enemy meant for evil. And I have no regrets.
So when I saw this moment, I was just thinking about myself and my a lot of emotions and grieving that I have experienced and all the emotions that I've shared with you guys and the anger that I have felt. And I want to be very clear that I am not that example that she is giving. I could have never, and I know that so many people agree with this, I could have never forgiven Tyler Robinson for whatever part he played in this. And obviously I'm saying whatever part he played in this because I don't believe that he was the lone person involved. I don't even think he's the person that killed Charlie Kirk. But even if you believe all of those things, I never could have turned around and forgiving him that quickly, right? And I have not even processed. I definitely, when I prayed about this, asked a ton of questions to God. And yeah, she is absolutely right in what she is saying. And she is delivering to us what the biblical teaching is on these matters. But I could not feel that way. And so I was questioning myself, listening, I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, well, actually, what is wrong with me? Why am I not able to get to forgiveness? Why am I not able to, or why am I rather questioning and asking why, and why doing this to somebody so young? I mean, even my dad, by the way, was so impacted. He met Charlie a couple of times, but he was so impacted by Charlie's assassination that it made him go, I want to be, I remember my dad said this, like, I want to be a better grandfather and a better father because I look at myself and I'm older and I haven't lived a life anywhere near as admirable as Charlie has lived his life. My dad literally said this to me on the phone. And it makes me feel like, why him? Why did this happen to Charlie Kirk? And I just, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was going, wow, what is wrong with me that I have felt all of those things, that she has had the wisdom to just not go through that. You know what I mean? Or not, I guess I shouldn't say not go through that, but not fixate on that. I couldn't today, after everything that's happened, be like, I forgive Tyler Robbins. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I think maybe if I'm assessing myself and being hypercritical of myself right now, it's because I cannot forgive until I know what happened. I don't know what I'm forgiving.
She's operating at a different level. I got to be totally honest with you. Because, like, to say a sentence out loud, similar in the vein of what she's actually expressing here, to be like, well, I don't think that the real person who's been accused of killing Charlie Kirk was the actual assassin. And I'll be honest with you, if that was my husband, I would not be able to forgive him. And in addition to that, I can't forgive him now as his friend. But I'm not saying that's what Erika Kirk is doing. I'm not even openly implying that. I'm simply just putting this out there that I myself, at this moment in time, I couldn't do that. And so I have to ask myself, you know, what's wrong with me, really? Maybe that's on me. I do want to plant those seeds, though, in all of your brains right now, to the viewers who are listening to me. Like, I don't think anyone else is playing the game like Candace is on the right in media. Because there's nothing there that's usable. You couldn't clip any one of these clips and then, like, put it on blast if you were right winger, like, upset at her at what she's, like, implying, I don't know, on the 12th D chess level here.
Actually, until I know what happened. And this might move into what we're going to get into later, where she answers the question, we're going to get to it right now, actually, of whether or not she believes that they have caught the true killer of Charlie Kirk, right? Do you believe that? The person that we have in custody, is that the person that pulled the trigger? Is that the only person that pulled the trigger? Anyways, I want you to hear it directly from her and not me recapping what she said or reiterating it, rather. It's gone viral because of what she didn't say, to be honest with you. Take a listen.
Do you think they've caught your husband's killer?
So something I'm so grateful for is that we have one of the most incredible teams for this case. I would never wish it upon anybody to have to go through what we are going through. To have seen the autopsy report, to have seen the different evidence portions that have been collected. I trust our team.
So it's not a straight yes or no. And the implication could be that she trusts the team to find more or to get answers, or if this is not it, to tell her what the true answers are. And I think that's why it's just going viral, because they're going, okay, does she actually believe that Tyler Robinson acted alone? And obviously Jesse is not going to push her on that, because it would have probably felt more like an interrogation rather than just sitting down and speaking through some of these topics that are probably hard to talk about in general. But I am hopeful that what she's implying is that she trusts her team to do the due diligence. She says that she has seen the autopsy report. She has seen certain things. Obviously, none of us have seen the autopsy report. And I don't know. I didn't know what to make of that. Is she saying that there's more that's going to come out? Is that kind of a foreshadowing that more is going to come out and things are going to be clear? I hope so. I really do. Because in terms of what the public has seen so far, I would say nothing has been convincing. And I'm trying to imagine what they would have that the public hasn't seen that could be sort of a smoking gun. And in theory, it would be the footage, right? Tyler Boyer said, we have footage in 4K, all of the stuff when he was tweeting. And similarly, not the university, but somebody else was saying that, at every angle, every area of the university is covered. Their excuse for not showing the public was they didn't want it to in any way impact the case. That has never made sense to me. That excuse has never made sense to me. In fact, I would imagine that when there was a manhunt going on, before you were even thinking about the case, but rather thinking about keeping people safe, that would have been a good time to drop some clear footage of the individual. But it's possible. It's possible they have actual clear footage of Tyler Robinson jumping down onto the rooftop and firing the shot. That's all possible. And so we're just going to have to wait and see on that. Now, I'm going to say personally, and maybe even selfishly, probably selfishly, again, I'm fallen. I'm very fallen, obviously. I was extremely excited that she responded to the Catholic innuendo once and for all in her own way. Obviously, it was not a direct question or anything. But two things happened here. One, you probably didn't catch, which is behind Jesse and Erika as they're walking backstage at the University of Mississippi event that they headlined. There was a priest. Look in the corner there. I know a priest scholar when I see one. Yep, that is the same priest.
I'm in a totally different universe than I would say the totality of this corner of the internet. I've never once wondered that. I'm glad the Catholic question has finally been answered and we have proof, because I found a priest in the background. Okay. I'm not really bothered one way or the other. I didn't even know that was a thing.
She took with her to the hospital when Charlie was shot. And I don't know. I am maintaining that I think this may have been about more than the architecture. And in case you are not there yet, in addition to that, the priest being caught behind the scenes there, they traveled with Erika and she discusses Charlie's affinity for Saint Michael. Take a listen.
When we first started dating, I asked him, I was like, why don't you wear a cross? I was like, why? You say you're a Christian, but you don't wear a cross. He's like, I don't know. I'm not a jewelry guy. And I was like, I understand. So for his first birthday present, I got him this cross. And then throughout time, I would always add different medals to it. And so he loved St. Michael. And so, yeah, every time he'd put this on, he just felt like it was his armor.
Are we done here, guys? He felt like St. Michael was his armor. Okay. Now, I wanted to point that out because in retrospect, I get more and more just amazed and upset at how vicious and cruel and unnecessary people are. Just all of the videos people made when I wasn't even mentioning it as a big deal. I was doing a tribute video to Charlie and being like, we were all hoping that he was going to take the step and become Catholic, gave no details. And the next thing I knew, Operation Christian Zionist Influencer was, while I was in a state of trauma and grieving, coming after me and saying that it wasn't true. And I don't think any of them have made videos since clarifying that no, Candace seems to have been telling the truth, because who cares about the truth when you can just like dunk on Candace? But I thought that was a very natural way to kind of respond to it. And, she's probably not going to give us any more because she doesn't have to give us any more. Like I said from the beginning, he didn't convert.
Can you explain this, please? Basically, Candace Owens is towing an incredibly dangerous line and doing it in a way that I don't think most people would risk, because it sounds monstrous what you are trying to propose. So much so that if you just said it out loud or blatantly, that I think like even for her newfound fame and stardom, you wouldn't be able to pull it off. Even at right now, where she's more popular than ever before for a variety of different reasons, I don't think you could ever sit there and be like, There's a conspiracy going on here. There's more than meets the eye. We don't have answers, but I know in my heart that the person who killed or is being told to us that shot Charlie Kirk is not the real killer. That's Candace Owens' official stance right now. In addition to that, she originally started proposing that this might have something to do with the fact that Charlie Kirk was starting to separate himself from Israel, which is why she leaked all these text messages that showed that behind the scenes, Charlie Kirk was speaking in a very anti-Semitic way, which is not shocking at all to me. I don't think that's evidence of anything other than the fact that most people who are pro-Israel can also be racists. That doesn't matter if they his entire career, he was an avowed Zionist. So just so we're completely clear, publicly, privately, could he have been a racist as much so as he was to other groups, but also towards Jewish people? Of course. Of course, absolutely, of course. Like when I saw those text messages that got leaked and they were confirmed to be true, I wasn't like, oh my god, the conspiracy is true. All these right wingers, they're not Alex Jonesing right now. They might actually have something here. Like Charlie Kirk actually secretly behind the scenes sounded like he was very racist towards Jewish people. And I was like, no, because he was a racist, I assumed that he was a racist towards most groups. That's usually the way racists operate. But to propose the idea that it was somehow there was an involvement or an association with his potential falling out with his support for Israel, that alone would have a lot of people just be like, fuck Candace Owens. But she was able to get through that. And then to accelerate that to the point where she started suggesting maybe that, he could have been assassinated and maybe the Trump administration knew about it. And if the Trump administration knew about it, who else knew about it? She doesn't actually name the Trump administration, but she does mention the government. And she says, if they're already proposing statues to you in the same way they did for MLK, that usually means that the government killed you. And she said that out loud. And so that, again, really intense inflammatory stuff, the kind of stuff that would get libs or leftists or anyone who even made a joke about it fired from their jobs. And yet that's part of her broadcast right now. It's like she's now doing this so subtly because she can't directly do an angle of attacking Erika Kirk, because that's also monstrous, right? It's something that she wouldn't be able to get away with. I've heard and I've seen there's so many TikTok videos right now of people claiming to be body language experts, etc., who just zoom in on Candace Owens' face when she's watching Erika Kirk. Because you'll notice she never says anything. She's not like, oh, I think she's faking it. Oh, those seem like fake tears. Oh, she seems way too happy. She doesn't say that out loud, but then they'll zoom in on her facial expressions and be like, well, I got to be honest with you. As a woman, men might not pick up on this, but those the eyes and the way that she's reacting to this, she's saying a lot more with her face than normally most people would know. And then again, for me, I'm like, I don't know how much of all of this is true, but I do know that she's the only extremely prominent right-wing conservative who's pushing straight-up conspiracy theories about this right now. And not only, you could say, getting away with it, but she's more popular than ever. There's a huge section of the internet that is just she's the only one telling the truth. She's the only one willing to reveal the information, that the person who was in custody was not Charlie Kirk's killer. She's gone out of her way to show that there's just no physical ability for someone to have gotten that shot off and then to have packed it up into a suitcase or a backpack and then to have ran over to that side and then gotten down, and she's got it from another angle, and she's got exclusive footage from someone who submitted this, and she's spreading all of this kind of stuff. Again, it's absolutely wild. If not it's not incendiary. Like I said, you're not going to see her say anything overtly bad.
Probably the
because
most
she's been very, very smart about it.
About how she personally feels about the conspiracy theories that are circulating regarding his murder, and here is her answer.
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died. It became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself because I need to guard my heart, and I need to be there for my kids, and I need to be there for Turning Point. And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them, how does this happen? How does somebody become so radicalized where they can justify this in their own head? We just lost one of the greatest voices of our generation. Why? How? What's behind it? Everyone's trying to process this. And I respect that. But where my heart is just asking for some grace is for the ones who were there that day. they have to relive that every single day. He didn't die in a car accident. He didn't die from cancer. He was assassinated. And the difference between this and previous assassinations in this country is there was no social media. There was no AI. I can tell you how many fake images are out there of all of this. And again, my only request is that just please pray and consider and think about whatever you put online, because it's going to impact his kids in the future. I don't want my kids to go on the internet one day when they're older and see things that it's just, we're all trying to process this in their own way, and I appreciate that. But just some grace would be nice.
So I think it's a gracious answer, and I think it's a gracious request to, assert first and foremost that people are doing this because they care and they care about Charlie, and also this was a traumatic event that the entire world experienced, and also the reason why the internet is investigating is because the feds aren't, and not only are they not investigating, they're telling some pretty obvious lies, right? Number one being that he was shot by a 30-06 and stopped the bullet, when in a normal circumstance, it would have decapitated him. Like a 30-06 will decapitate someone. And because they've been so ridiculous and then gaslighting us by being like, you're dishonoring Charlie's legacy, people are digging their feet in the ground because it's just disrupts us spiritually.
I'm not a gun person. I don't know enough about guns. I didn't know that there was a bullet that decapitates people upon impact.
To watch something like that and then be told like nothing to see here. Now, here's what I will say about her request to consider the people that were there that day. The people that were there that day experienced a trauma because they watched Charlie Kirk die, or maybe they didn't see him die, maybe watched him get shot, heard the shot, who knows what the exact specs are. This is where it's going to be really hard for Erika to be a CEO and to be somebody who is a widow at the same time, right? Because the messaging that is coming out of Turning Point USA, so this is Erika in her CEO and her chairman capacity, has just been unacceptable, right? It can't be both. It can't be, okay, everybody, we're going to keep going. And, Mikey's going to take over for Charlie at his Liberty event that he has, which is going to be sold out. And Turning Point USA people who are directors of faith are going to be telling you, like, Mikey's got what it takes. Here's what, blah, blah, blah. And then Mikey's going to tell stories about that day, go on his show multiple times. Andrew's going to talk about it. Everyone's going to talk about it. And they don't want to talk about the stuff that we care about. Like, this is what it means to have a podcast, right? You can't want fame only on your command. This is kind of the Meghan Markle thing, right? That we talk about. And I'm quoting this to Mikey McCoy. It's like everybody wants to be famous until you're famous. Okay. We want privacy now. Well, it doesn't actually work that way. You don't get to be like, I want to marry you and I want to be a princess and then become a princess. And you're like, well, I don't want to be a princess, right? It's kind of, you got to pick one or the other. So if there were Turning Point individuals who were so traumatized that day and they needed to go away, I mean, I had to go away for 2 weeks to collect my thoughts about the trauma that I saw having watched it. A lot of people I know that had to take breaks. I had to take the show off the air for a couple of days, and they just, needed time to process. It'd be a little bit different. Actually, it's almost came across like they needed zero time to process, and they were kind of annoyed that the world needed time to process. And then the things that they were telling us were lies. We were able to factually debunk things that we were being told. And then you've got people like Tyler, who
Do you notice how she goes after the rest of the Turning Point crew, but she doesn't go after Erika? Also smart.
was featured in this. Tyler Boyer, who you're the chairman and the CEO. Tyler Boyer is a sexual deviant, right? Why do we have to give, because he was at the hospital, give him grace? It's like, no, this is this is now what's at the head of the company. Charlie's not there. We want to make sure that this company is going to be committed to truth. We want to make sure that this company is not going to be telling us that we can't care about this or not be focused on that, because we need to decide whether this is still the same company. That's what it means, right? Is this still the same company? And so I think with the McCoy thing,
that Erika Kirk is now in charge of, by the way.
Everyone wanted a stage until you got a stage, okay? And people started going lie, right? Case in point, Alex Clark wanted to do the Wall Street Journal thing until I caught this little lie. And it's like, what are you saying this thing about Catholics? That's not true, okay? Take the stage or don't take the stage, but it can't be in between. And then suddenly when the public turns against you, I don't want a stage anymore. That would be my response to that. And I do not have any sympathy for Rob McCoy. I have no sympathy for Mikey McCoy. I have no sympathy for Tyler Boyer. I think telling the truth is a very easy thing to do when you have a microphone. And
except for the fact that she's going after everyone but Erika, even though she's pretty much saying all the quiet parts out loud right now.
And if you don't want to tell the truth, it just makes you look more suspicious. And I can give you an example of that. There was some kid who was wearing green at this UVU event, right? They looked kind of shady. There was a ton of rumors. We got a bunch of emails, but I never covered it on the show because I didn't think there was anything beyond the fact that he looked kind of shady in a green hoodie. And I think it was yesterday, Sam Parker was like, who are these guys? And I can't get a clear image of this person. I then respond to him like, here's a clear image of this person. The actual person wearing the green hoodie then responds very quickly. He's like, that's me. Sorry, I dress weird. I think he's on the soccer team at UVU. And that's it. It's over. And nobody is talking about the green hoodie. Here he is, Colby Sessions. Hey guys, this is me. My teammate and I were just on campus to get food and stop by the event. We always wear silly stuff like that. Sorry guys. That's
Here's a video of Erika Kirk's Candace Owens exposing an affair. What? I know she's like the queen of Charlie Kirk truthers right now. I didn't think she was going that far.
I have to say, any woman that can get on stage and meaningfully say that they forgive the person who their husband that quickly, you are truly a better person than me, because I've just been so angry and so angry. What sort of widow wouldn't want people to investigate the assassination of their husband? She has not explicitly said that, but the influencers are invoking that.
The second Candace Owens hit post, Erika Kirk's face turned redder than a tomato. Candace didn't play nice this time. She went straight for the jugular, dropping alleged proof of Erika's
This plays like a Entertainment Tonight video.
affair with TPUSA's chief of staff, Michael McCoy. We're talking actual phone records from McCoy's device and Erika's own statements in interviews after Charlie's death. And when Candace started connecting the dots, everything about Charlie's tragic death stopped looking random and started looking orchestrated. Now everyone's asking, was Charlie's death an accident or the result of betrayal from inside his own circle?
Why is it the left are the only ones who aren't? If there's one group that would have a motive right now to spread all kinds of wild conspiracies surrounding this, all the people who were being attacked aren't, right? Leftists, Antifa, trans people, like they're all like, well, yeah, it seems pretty obvious that the person who's been caught was the shooter. So, what about the next thing? What are we talking about now?
His quote-unquote closest friends, his closest political allies, the White House, they all seemed kind of ready to move on so much faster than I was.
Candace Owens never believed Charlie was taken out by some lone madman. From day one, she said it. Something about that story didn't sit right. And her eyes? They've been locked on Erika Kirk the entire time. Her suspicions finally hit overdrive when Erika went viral for that emotional tribute on national TV. The one where she couldn't stop smiling while mourning her husband. Watch closely. She gives shout-outs to several names, but her tone changes when she mentions Michael McCoy. She calls him Mikey, says he's amazing, and for a split second, she lights up, like she forgot she was supposed to be grieving. That's when Candace's fears turned to certainty.
This is not evidence of anything. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's an affair. Oh yeah, there's a bigger argument for the JD Vance affair, all right, than there is for that one. Look how her face lights up, and she says his name, invoking it. You know.
The betrayal came from the inside. And right as people were processing that, the full CCTV footage from the attack dropped, and it made everything worse. In that clip from Utah Valley University, Charlie's giving his speech with McCoy standing just feet away, backpack on, phone in hand, typing fast. And he's the chief of staff, right? So he probably has to be on his phone handling some logistics. But then Charlie gets shot. Chaos erupts. Everyone dives, screams, or rushes toward him. Everyone except Michael. Because the moment that gun goes off, McCoy bolts. He doesn't even try to check on Charlie or find out
because someone just got shot. I don't have to defend these monsters. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know if my immediate reaction would be stay around where people have fucking bullets going through their skin. Like what?
what really happened. He just runs to the back and grabs his phone.
No, we are not watching the shot footage. Jesus.
In her mother's hospital room in Phoenix when she got a call from Michael McCoy, who started screaming, "He's been shot." According to the article, Erika received this call at 11:23 a.m. local time in Phoenix. Charlie was attacked at 12:23 p.m. in Utah. So, if the article is correct, it means that the only person Michael could have been calling at that time was Erika. And that little detail, it changes everything. Because there's no logical—
It's not evidence! What are you saying? The only person he could have been calling. Yeah, or the other 7 billion people or numbers that exist. What are we doing here?
reason why Michael McCoy would watch Charlie get shot, not even attempt to help or make sure he's okay, and then rush to call his wife, who's in another state, to randomly tell her that her husband has been attacked. Unless that call wasn't made out of concern, but was some sort of signal. You know, the deed has been done signal, probably because Michael already knew that Charlie was going to get unalived at that moment. When Candace first started her one-woman campaign to get the truth about what happened to Charlie, many people called her crazy, a nut job, a conspiracy theorist. But this footage, it vindicated her, and that's what it took for people to realize that Candace had been right all along. They just
Wait, how did it vindicate her? Like, my word, the bar is so low. It's all right. So that guy was the chief of staff, right? And so he's on his phone before the shooting, okay? And then after the shooting, when someone had been shot and killed, he starts to flee the area where people are being shot at, okay? And then it looks like he's on the phone, all right? Based on the time that he was on his phone, the only person he could have been calling is Erika Kirk. Why? Yeah, or 911. I don't know. Could have been.
got blinded by the tears and camera flashes. Now here's where things get darker. Candace has always said Charlie's death smelled of higher-up involvement, that Tyler Robinson, the so-called shooter, was just a pawn. Because think about it. How did Robinson know the precise layout of the venue? The angle, the timing, the exit route? That's insider intel. Even Joe Rogan questioned it, and his reasoning was simple. That gun, the same one they say Tyler used to attack Charlie? It doesn't add up. The gun is supposedly a vintage German rifle that Robinson got from his grandfather, who
wait, I'm sorry, the layout? Like he scaled one side of a building and walked to the other side where he saw what was taking place there. It's not intel required. Only at the highest levels would he have known to walk to the other side of the building once approaching.
used it to fight in the Second
Yeah,
World
the
War.
layout of a public school? There's no way to access that, by the way. You could never find maps or layouts or Google satellite image.
But according to Joe Rogan, that doesn't make sense. The photo of the gun and the way it was used fits something much more modern than that.
The narrative is that this is his grandfather's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Why? Wait.
That's when eyes turn back to Erika. On paper, she's the model trad wife, grieving widow, faith influencer, beauty queen turned homemaker. But dig a little deeper, and that image cracks fast. From her
I'm assuming this is AI generated. Like, it has to be. It's all so literal. It's like, and that image breaks. Here's breaking glass, just so you understand the metaphor.
Miss Arizona USA crown under Trump's franchise to her politically connected father, Erika's ambitions run deeper than the camera shows. Compared to Charlie, who was more of a movement face than a player, she had
Brilliant insight from Rogan. I know. It cuts to Joe Rogan, and he's just like, all right. Ooh. It's like, he's not even saying words right now. These are sounds, and they're not really indicative of anything. I guess he finds it suspicious that was the weapon that was used, I guess.
pedigree and the hunger. So the whispers started. Was Charlie just her stepping stone? And the biggest red flag wasn't even the politics. It was her behavior after the attack. Because while Candace was demanding answers, Erika was posting aesthetics and forgiveness quotes. That's when Candace stopped hinting and started accusing. Y'all know Candace doesn't sugarcoat. The day she connected the dots, she went live. No script, no filter, and she torched Erika Kirk. She didn't just question her grief, she questioned her silence. Why wasn't Erika demanding answers? Why was she forgiving the killer before even confirming who it was? And why did every tribute sound like PR instead of pain? Candace didn't stop there. She dragged TPUSA straight into it, calling out the same organization.
But again, even if that was all true, it has absolutely no bearing or proof towards this being a deep, like, state conspiracy at all. You at best would be able to be like, these people just don't care about each other and they're opportunists. That would be the end of it. Not that, well, yeah, that also proves that, you know, at the highest levels, this entire thing was pretty much orchestrated.
That Charlie built, accusing them of shielding Erika and McCoy from scrutiny. Her anger was palpable. You could see it in her eyes when she laid everything out. Like this wasn't commentary anymore, it was personal.
I want to say that what's been bothering me in particular are the micro lies. It seems that they're suddenly in the business of telling micro lies, tiny little misrepresentations, tiny little half-truths that right out of the gate seems altogether unnecessary.
It's definitely AI. I just pronounced Train Point USA, TP USA. Okay. All right. We gotcha. If it wasn't for the fucking smash glass mirror weird thing, like everything being taken so literal. But then again, who prompted this? It's not as if it was just an AI scouring the internet for how a video could be crafted and go viral, right? Like someone had to have been there, like Charlie Kirk, conspiracy, Candace Owens was right, use Joe Rogan as proof, talk about how the gun could not have been the gun or the weapon that was used in the shooting. That entire building could not have been known unless you were working in the highest levels of government.
It really makes me wonder, who are they protecting?
But most agreed, someone needed to say it. Comments flooded in. Candace summed it up perfectly. Why aren't more...
I mean, if anything, it sucks because this is just going to be the future of YouTube. I know AI is completely already taken over YouTube Shorts, you know, and it's already starting to flood TikTok. It's going to be taking over Instagram real soon, and eventually you're just going to have long form essays. They're probably going to have hosts, right? Like they can already make convincing looking AI videos, so you'll have what you think is like an H-bomber guy, and you're like, oh, I love that person. I've been watching them for a while. They do really funny reviews of movies and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, that person's not real. What? No, they're not a real human. Yeah, sorry. That's just the way things go. Who knows how long I'll be doing this when I can just replace myself in a live stream format and use it would be like a VTuber avatar myself.
Of Charlie's friends not trying to get to the bottom of exactly what
we have all the footage we need. If you Lance, this is fine. Yeah, I know, that's true actually.
Happened. Then there was this other comment that Candace herself liked. As a woman who buried both my kids' dads, I know from experience that in the immediate emotional crisis, you're not asking questions.
What account is this? Made Whole? Where are you even fetching these from? I guess is it the fact that Candace Owens liked it? I'm also so curious, like, I don't use, like, you know, these kind of AI prefab video generators, so is it as simple as they just have to type in, like, a series of paragraphs, like, talk about this, source videos about this, like, is it able to generate this whole thing instantaneously? Because if so, I mean, it's looking pretty polished. It's still like there's less and less cracks that you can really see or understand that this is AI.
Waiting that Charlie's wife had something to do with his assassination. Sick. But here's the part they didn't expect. Candace didn't flinch. If
you just give it clips, wow.
anything, the backlash fueled her. She doubled down, claiming she'd uncovered something even deeper, something that connected Charlie's death to global politics. And when she said
it would require multiple editing and multiple different prompts and takes. Like this super easy template, right? Like you just type in, you know, something simple like Candace Owens videos on Charlie Kirk, and then yeah, I can print out a template that looks like this, fancy. The titles, template, that part's super fancy. I understand that. But the narration and editing, like it's not nonsense. It is completely batshit crazy conspiracy theories, don't get me wrong, but it's not as if like if you watch the start to the end, like you don't have a fake narrative going on, right?
that, the internet froze. According to Candace, Charlie was being pressured by wealthy investors to soften his stance on Israel, millions on the table if he...
It would be written and edited entirely by humans, but for sure they use sexist speech. Yeah, maybe.
Thank you so much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you. And if you want to join, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hegbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet One 85, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Tigwick, and Words Greenwood.